This is Talk of the Town, a weekly program featuring community events happening in and around Northeast Michigan, with your host, Nancy Smitham. And get the latest news from Alpena Community College with Dr. Olin Joyton. And now today's Talk of the Town.
Good morning and welcome to Talk of the Town. My first two guests today are from Besser Museum. I have Randy Schultz and Christine Wiltulski. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
Now, Randy, when you were on a month ago and we just started talking a little bit about the Vietnam exhibit, and I was so excited, I went back to work and told everybody, and we're going to call and arrange a private tour and come and see everything, but you had no idea what was going to happen with this exhibit.
You really don't, and it's the voice of the people coming in and making comments about you don't really know how well of a job you did trying to portray when you have something as emotional as items that veterans have brought back. You listen to their stories and you hope when you put them on display that you can sort of put some of that emotion into the exhibit itself. And thankfully I must have hit the nail on the head a few times because we have been getting a lot of positive comments on that. I think what interests me the most is the amount of veterans themselves that are coming in and using this for a healing process. When you see one veteran come in and all of a sudden he comes back a couple days later with 3 more of his buddies, that's our reward. That's job well done. We set out to do something and we've accomplished it.
And Randy's always a little modest about what he does, but it's unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. It's called Vietnam War, a tribute exhibit. And it's a tribute to the local veterans because when he first took on this project, Besser Museum had no artifacts from the Vietnam War. And he reached out to the local veterans and worked with them, got their stories, earned their confidence, really listened to what they had to say. I mean, he'd spend hours with them, and then spent months putting together a fabulous exhibit. And like you said, he's still taking in artifacts and designing components to this exhibit and giving guided tours because he spent so much time and he's the expert. I always feel kind of bad when somebody asks me a question and I'm like, you'll have to go talk to Randy because he really, like I said, listened, and then he'll give the guided tours, which adds such an extra element to the experience. And what's really nice about this tribute exhibit is, again, it's their story and people are coming in and experiencing it in their own way. We're not really, how would you explain it?
You're not forcing a story upon them. You have to come in, you have to evaluate, you have to pick up what you hope they can pick up from this exhibit. A lot of people, it was really sad when the first veteran I talked to, I said, if you put a world map up and you had 25 people in this room and you asked them, where's Vietnam? They couldn't tell you. Oh, and by the way, that little country above them called China was Vietnam's biggest ally, North Vietnam's biggest ally. A lot of them have no clue. They didn't want to have a clue. That was their way of handling that situation, was total detachment. But what you realize now is these Vietnam veterans are walking amongst us. They're our brothers, they're our uncles. You have children coming in, it's their grandpa. They're still here. What was unique with the Vietnam veteran exhibit, I now have 60 veterans that I've talked to. Unlike Korean World War II, it wasn't family members bringing in the artifacts. These are the guys that were there. Their stories are legitimate. And when I start my tours, I always tell people, you're not going to find the stories that I tell you in a book. I'm always a little apprehensive when a Vietnam veteran joins the tours because I'm like, oh my gosh, who am I to tell them what was there? But what's really unique, this war was spread out so far that the veterans that I talk to, I'm sharing stories with. Maybe this veteran didn't even know that transpired over there. They had stories of, they heard of, so I haven't had any raise their hand and say, no, you're way off base on that. Again, the stories that I tell, the facts that I come up with are those told to me by a veteran.
Okay. And Chris, there's a lot of other activities going on too.
Right, Besser Museum has a very full packed schedule for the next couple months. And one of the first events coming up is our Welcome Home weekend. And it is September 26th, 27th, and 28th. And so the Michigan Memorial Traveling Wall, because we want to make sure we get that right. It's not the half scale, it's the Michigan Wall. Is coming to Besser Museum on September 26th. Friday. And that Friday we're hosting a reception for all Vietnam veterans and their special guests. It's a free reception for them, kind of to be the first to view the wall and share that with their families, see the exhibit. Then on Saturday we're having a celebration ceremony, and it's really a citywide celebration. Besser Museum at our site will have some family-friendly activities. We're hoping to get some military vehicle displays that will be coming in. We are going to have music. We'll have food vendors in the backyard. Shout Eureka Science, hands-on activities for kids. The Rope Men, which is a popular attraction, will be there, and this is all free. And then the Sunday on the 27th, we will be open for public viewing. We're usually closed on Sunday, but we will be open and free to the public to see the exhibit and to see the wall, because the wall will leave then that following Monday. So that's all free. It's partnering with Wings Over Alpena. They're helping sponsor that, and they got sponsorship support from the Alpena Youth and Recreational Grant.
Good.
So they're helping underwrite this, and it will be really a great cultural experience for our community.
In the memorial tribute that's coming up, the reason Chris tried to be very cautious on using the word wall, we don't want to mislead people in thinking it's the half-scale version of the traveling wall that we had in '95.
Yeah, we had it before.
There was a Council 154 Vietnam veterans down south put this tribute together. It basically consists of the 2,654 killed in action and the 49 missing in action. It's Michigan's version of that memorial that you have in Washington, D.C. 6 veterans come up with this. They donate all their time.
Wow.
They stay with it. When your door's open, they're there. When your door's closed, then they leave. They offer documents that they pick up from the virtual wall. If you go in there, you know somebody from Michigan, you give them the name, they'll bring it up, and you can take home, and this is all free of charge.
Unfortunately, we're getting very short of time, but I just want everyone to know there's lots more activities at the museum. Go online to the website and check them out. But I want to encourage everyone that the Vietnam exhibit ends on October 3rd?
October 5th.
October 5th. You need to get in there and see the exhibit. If you have a group of people, call Randy, get it set up so that you can come in and have everyone see it together. I'm anxious to hear more stories and things, but please don't miss it. If you do, you'll be very, very sorry you did.
People are asking, well, where is this going to travel to next?
I know.
It is not a traveling exhibit. It comes down October 5th, which then starts our Juried Art. So we're having Juried Art contest, which details are on our web. The weekend after our Welcome Home weekend is our Fall Harvest Fossil Fest, and that's always a big event.
Yes.
And then right on the heels of that is our Season of Light. So we are really busy. We've got a lot of stuff going on at the museum. So
well, thank you both very much for being here, and thank you so much for bringing this to life for all of us to see.
Our pleasure.
Thanks for having us.
I'll be right back with some information from Alpena County Library following these messages. My last guest today is Russ Franzen from Alpena County Library. Hi, Russ.
Hey, Nancy.
As the museum was saying, we are a very busy place, and I know when I look at your list, Alpena County Library is a very busy place. You know, if people in our town say there's nothing to do, nowhere to go, oh my goodness gracious, they just need to do a little exploring, because this town has a wealth of things to do at all times.
Yes, it does.
And you know, you folks at the library, you do such a wide gamut of things for people. First of all, computer classes.
The computer classes are very popular.
Yes.
And we have a lot of them. Starting this month, we've got just basic classes on how to use your computer, how to get on the internet. We have some classes if you have an iPad or an Android tablet device. We have some classes on how to use those, how to get books on your Kindle. You know, just a lot of things like that. The classes are $5 each.
Yes, very minimal cost.
Yes, most of them are in the evening. The important thing is that you have to register.
And they fill up fast.
They do. They do. And if you go to alpenalibrary.org, our website, you'll be able to take a look and see a little synopsis of each of the classes. Then once you've made your decision, you can give us a call. I work at the reference desk. You can give us a call there, 356-6188, extension 14. and we'll be able to sign you up for that class, and then we'll give you a reminder call just before the class.
Oh, yay.
Yes.
And they're very basic to a little bit more complicated.
Yes.
You will learn every class that you take and go to.
Yeah,
you really will.
Yeah, we have classes on Word, classes on Excel, things like that.
Access the internet,
Yep. Facebook.
social media.
Yeah.
Oh boy, that's a good one.
Yep, a beginner Facebook, and then something a little more advanced.
Yay!
Yes.
All right, then U.S. Poet Laureate Philip Levine will be our author this fall. Oh my goodness, you always get the best people.
This is really exciting. I mean, to get somebody of Philip Levine's caliber to come to Alpena, he's not only a U.S. Poet Laureate, he's a Pulitzer Prize winner for his book, The Simple Truth, book of poetry. He's going to be here October 19th at 7 p.m. But there are a lot of events that we have that coincide with his visit. For example, Philip Levine was born and grew up in Detroit, and he worked in an auto plant.
Yes.
So a lot of his poetry has that kind of flavor in it, that sort of urban flavor. And in partnership with the Association of Lifelong Learners, we're holding a film series of Detroit. There's Detropia, September 28th at 2 o'clock.
Okay.
After the Factory on October 5th at 2 o'clock. And Yesterday and Tomorrow in Detroit, October 12th at 2 o'clock.
So a good chance to see, what Mr. Levine talks about. And
Yes, and his poetry is even a part of some of those. I'm not sure if it's in all of them, but it's certainly in one or two of them, because I've seen a Detropia, and his poetry is represented there. So.
Great. So lots of good things, and make sure you call in advance and get your tickets, because same thing, his events will sell out.
Yes, tickets are available at the library.
Okay. Then on October 7th, a lecture on Walt Whitman's America's First Poet at 1 p.m.
Yes, that's also in association.
Oh, it is?
Or in participation with the Association of Lifelong Learners. Whitman or Levine has been compared to Whitman for his style. In fact, I think he was called the Walt Whitman of the Industrial Heartland at one point. And so that's going to be October 7th at 1 p.m., the lecture on Walt Whitman. And then there's going to be a book discussion that evening on The Simple Truth, Levine's Pulitzer Prize-winning book.
Ooh.
So
that's a good event.
Yes.
Okay, now we're going to talk about tattooing. We really are a diverse group here.
Yes. Not something you would normally think about being a library program, but this isn't so much a how-to. In fact, it's not a how-to. But because tattooing has become more mainstream in our society, we're going to host a program called The History and Culture of Tattoos. And Jacqueline Beach of Black Iris Studios in Escanaba is going to come down. She's going to talk about the history of the practice, the modern trends, health practices, things like that.
Yay.
And it should be a very interesting lecture, presentation. It's free. It's on September 17th at 7 o'clock in the evening.
Okay. Next is Science of the Superheroes.
Now this is one that's filling up fast, so people who want to go to this really need to call the library and get signed up for it. You have to be 12 or over.
Okay.
But this is going to be September 27th, 1 to 4 p.m.
Okay.
Again, it's free. Marvel comic artist Jerry DeCare is going to be coming over, and he's drawn Thor and some of the X-Men and things like that. I mean, he's it's going to be really cool. It's hands-on. You're going to be drawing your own superheroes. But like I said, space is limited. It's already filling up. They need to call the library and register, 356-6188.
What I like is the math and science of creating it. Learning again.
And your own superheroes. But like I said, space is limited. It's already filling up. They need to call the library and register, 356-6188.
What I like is the math and science of creating it. Learning again.
And your own superheroes. But like I said, space is limited. It's already filling up. They need to call the library and register, 356-6188.
What I like is the math and science of creating it. Learning again, disguised as
superheroes. But like I said, space is limited. It's already filling up. They need to call the library and register 356-6188.
What I like is the math and science of creating
Yes.
it. Learning again, disguised as fun.
But like I said, space is limited. It's already filling up. They need to call the library and register 356-6188.
What I like is the math and science of creating
Yes.
it. Learning again, disguised as fun.
But like I said, space is limited. It's already filling up. They need to call the library and register 356-6188.
What I like is the math and science of creating
Yes.
it. Learning again, disguised as fun.
But like I said, space is limited. It's already filling up. They need to call the library and register 356-6188.
What I like is the math and science of creating
Yes.
it. Learning again, disguised as fun. You folks are
But like I said, space is limited. It's already filling up. They need to call the library and register 356-6188.
What I like is the math and science of creating
Yes.
it. Learning again, disguised as fun. You folks are really good.
But like I said, space is limited. It's already filling up. They need to call the library and register 356-6188.
What I like is the math and science of creating
Yes.
it. Learning again, disguised as fun. You folks are really good at that.
Like I said, space is limited. It's already filling up. They need to call the
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Talk of the Town. I'm Olin Joyton, president of Alpena Community College. My guest this morning, Mr. Frank McCourt, athletic director for ACC. Welcome to the show, Frank.
Thank you, Dr. Joyton.
And you are in or about to complete your 46th year of service to ACC, is that correct?
That is correct, sir.
And that would take us back to 1968.
Yes,
what was
sir.
your original position with the college?
My original position as I was the admissions counselor, and I taught economics.
No kidding.
Yes.
And then you worked as a counselor? And,
I worked as an admissions counselor, and I worked as a counselor.
How did you get into the athletic programs?
Well, in 1966, I coached junior high basketball in Pontiac Public Schools.
Okay.
Okay, and in 1971, there was some transition in the athletic department, and I was the assistant for Bob Hollop in the men's program, and then from 80 to 87, I was the women's head coach.
Okay. And then you also serve as the head coach for the men's team now.
That is correct, sir.
Very good. And when did that start?
That started the year that Mike Colleen was a freshman and Bobby Allen was a sophomore.
Okay. And Mike's doing the job that you started out with now.
Yes,
admissions
that's right.
Director.
That is
Very
correct,
good.
sir.
Very good. Well, how about just an overview for the audience of athletics at ACC, the
Okay.
league teams, anything else you want to add about intramurals?
Athletics, we have 5 teams because of the 5-sport rule and because that's what we choose to have. We have cross country, which is coached by Mark Jacobs, which, if I were to rank all the coaches, including myself, he'd be number 1.
He's terrific.
He is terrific. And then we have volleyball, which is coached by John Dietland and Sarah Parsons. We have women's softball, which is coached by Aaron Rappel. And we have women's basketball, which is coached by Bobby Allen, who is also my assistant coach. And then I coach men's basketball.
Very good. Anything about the prospects of the team the year that has just started that you would find worthy of comment?
Yeah, I think that we're deeper than we have been in the past. And by deeper, I mean we can go down to our 13th or 14th man with quality basketball players.
Very good. Would the same be true of the women's team?
Yes, I think the women probably are about 2 players short of where I am.
Very good. I always enjoy coming out to see the basketball games, and the attendance has been very good, hasn't it?
I think, Dr. Joyton, there are 2 things that make Alpena Community College unique. One is the uniqueness of the community. It's a rural community, and yet because of the sparsity of basketball players in northern Michigan, we have to go to the city to get a lot of our players. And well,
that's good for them and good for us.
That's right. And as a matter of fact, Jim Willing, who is now the coach at Toledo Catholic, who used to be the coach at Owen, used to call Alpena Toledo North.
All right. Oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I think that the fact that we play in the evenings on Saturday makes us truly unique. And the reason that we do that is that the league has decided that we draw well enough that we don't have to play on Saturday afternoon.
Very good. Well, I know the trustees and I both appreciate how the games tie the community together with the college. And if community is our middle name at ACC, that kind of thing should happen.
That is correct. And we take every significant local player that we can get. We have 2 from Alpena High School this year, and then we have to go wherever we can go to get players. And we go, the reason that we go to the places we go is because of the cell theory, which you're aware of,
sure.
Which means that we've had people from there in the past and they put in a good word for us.
That's good. Well, I've heard you make speeches to the athletes that they are student athletes and student comes first. And I just want to compliment you for that.
That's what it's all about.
Yes.
And if student athlete doesn't come first, then we're all in trouble. And my top drawer of my desk has a special place for young men who decide that they want to wear hats in buildings and they want to wear headphones in buildings, and those get deposited in my desk drawer, and I give them back at the end of the year.
Well, a good little bit of training on good manners is all to the good.
Well, the biggest compliment I had is I had a couple of landlords in the community who rented to some of my players and said, "I need to tell you something, Coach, about your players." And I said, "What is that?" She said, "They're very polite and they're very respectful."
That's great. That comes from you as well as their parents and other faculty members here at the college.
And you know,
the other
that's
coaches.
the other thing that makes Alpena Community College significant, is the support that we get from faculty and staff, and including yourself.
Good. That's good. That's good. How about, let me just mention the news media. Another favorable aspect of our league athletics is the TV station here, WBKB, the newspaper, the radio station. They provide us good publicity.
Yes, they do. And I just talked to Uncle Gary Michelin, and WATZ will be broadcasting our games again this year.
That's terrific. That's great. As we close out the interview this morning, what about players who have gone on from ACC to wonderful experiences elsewhere? Any particular stories?
Yeah, there's one that's really significant. There are 2 that are really significant.
Well, real briefly now.
One is the director of admissions at Alpena Community College.
Yes.
And the other one is the women's basketball coach at Alpena Community College. Are both ACC graduates.
So they went off and completed their education elsewhere.
Mike Colleen went to Concordia, and Bobby Allen went to Lake Superior State.
That's great. That's great. Well, what a great legacy you are still in the process of leaving, and thank you very much for your service to ACC and for being on the program this morning.
Thank you, Dr. Joynton.
This has been Talk of the Town with Nancy Smitham and Dr. Olin Joynton. For a list of events taking place in Northeast Michigan, visit our website at www.wbkb11.com and click on Community. This has been a Thunder Bay Broadcasting Corporation production.